Black Wallet ZM, a place we are simply on a journey to building a generational legacy. I'm excited because my BF, nah, not best friend, billionaire friend is in the building.
Bum, 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 bum. You should have had something in
the intro. Yeah. I'm so excited to have you, Chipepo.
I'm excited
Please
to
introduce
be back.
yourself because there's probably somebody who hasn't been following both of us.
That's true.
And didn't know that this is our second video together.
Yeah. So I'm Chipepo Piri Mwamba, and I do personal finance, literacy education on social media under Finances with Chipepo. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, X, Threads, LinkedIn, TikTok. Yes, we are going to now like organize content on those platforms, but our main platforms right now are Facebook and Instagram. And we've been doing this for a minute, which means for a number of years. Yes. Yeah, so I think that's how we met.
Yeah, we met actually on Instagram. Like,
yes.
I liked your stuff, you like my stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's meet, you know?
Yeah.
And we met, and it
so
was
that's
just
like
natural.
the brief intro.
Yeah. So excited. And personally, knowing you from where you started and where you got into, I am super proud of your journey. If you even saw our previous video, please go look for it. It will be added in the description box below. You definitely
I also need to watch it.
You definitely see that both of us have grown, and I was so excited to have this conversation where I know now you're not working, but you are a full-time CEO. By not working, what I mean is she's not in formal employment, but she's doing her own thing. Yes. And for me, that's a conversation I wanted us to have today, just to inspire somebody watching and just to learn as well where you get started, how do you navigate that. But before we get started, tell me what has been the most exciting thing about this year for you.
Okay, maybe not obviously, but the most exciting thing for me this year has been not going to my 9 to 5. Look at her. The ring came in like the year before, so the most exciting has been.
But you officially got married this year.
No, see, this girl.
Last year.
Guys, I can even start marriage advice and what.
Actually, this year, last year.
We're over a year. Like, we're now going.
Where was I?
Second
no,
year.
You know, I only saw the pictures this year.
Yeah, I know.
Because I was out. Yeah,
it happens. It happens. No, we're going on 2 years now. Yeah. Yes, we've done it for 1 year, so I guess we are there.
Yeah.
Anyway, like not doing my 9 to 5 has really been good. And I remember just a few months after quitting my job, I would have anxiety for certain things. And that's when I realized that it was actually really bad, like me being in that place. The work was good and everything, but I wasn't just built for that. And later on, I really saw that, oh my God, thank God I left, because I've never been happier. Yeah.
So happiness was a priority for you.
Yeah, like I was happy, but like I'm happier not having to wake up at 6 to go to work. I can wake up at 6 to go anywhere, just not work.
Would you see yourself try again, like to work a 9 to 5?
I don't mind. It has to just be very differently structured. Yes, like very
awesome. So the exciting thing, obviously, she has mentioned is working for yourself. But then when it comes to working for yourself, it comes with certain challenges maybe that you didn't see.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you didn't prepare for or foresee in that transition? Obviously, now you're not integrating entrepreneurship and business. How do you navigate that, or what are some of the challenges that you have faced since you transitioned?
Okay, so great. In the same breath, I said it's been really exciting. Like I've enjoyed not going to the 9 to 5 and everything. But then the business side, because at first I wasn't even sure if I was going full time, and then I was just like, okay, let's do this. Let's see how it goes, right? And the first few months were like, yes, I was like really excited. I think the energy coming from like leaving something and then you're like, I cannot fail, and I'm that person. I think that's what maybe even like would differentiate me from a few people. When I try something, when I'm just starting it, I'm really like energetic, and I have to, because I want to see it really like produce something for me. So yeah, but then the last few months I was like, okay, so these are the things we read about in the business books, okay. But then that's the thing. I over prepare. So I've listened to podcasts, I've read books, I've watched people. So it's just like when something comes, I'm like, this is the thing that business owner was talking about. And even as much as it's been great experiencing new things, I won't lie, it's been challenging, especially in the last like 4 months, I would say, like since July. I don't know, we're in October, so yeah, July, August, September, October. Yeah, I'm correct. But it's been really good, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, regardless. Like, I love the idea of having to, like, I have to actually make the money. If I don't make the money, I won't have the money. Of course, I've been living off like my investments here and there, but then it also supplements. So I still have to show up and do the work. But I'm more excited coming into the next year, because now I have solidified that uncertainty of like, do I really want to do this? I know for sure I want to do entrepreneurship. So yeah.
100%. Welcome to the club.
Thank you. I'm a veteran. Thank you.
Welcome to the club. It will punch you, knock you, but
Am I ready, guys? Am I?
You'll be good. So you talked about the reality of entrepreneurship. So I had a conversation with a friend of mine, I think a month ago, and she's saying, how do I transition? Like how?
From 9 to 5
into entrepreneurship.
Okay.
What are some of the things you wish you were aware of, or some of the things that you are grateful you prepared for before you transitioned full time?
I like that you've asked it two ways. What are some of the things I wish I was aware of, and what are some of the things I wish I prepared for? So for me, there's really nothing I would say I wish I was aware of because of my over preparation. I don't know if I should give a small background to like how I started this over preparation. Like after completing university, and then I was job hunting, and you know how your first CV looks like a cartoon, but you're confident. You're even like sending it, you're going, and then afterwards you're like, what? Why was I giving people that? Like, even I wouldn't hire myself. Then later on, you start improving. And I remember months were going by, and now I was like, is it even the CVs, the cover letters, or jobs are just this hard? But it took me almost a year to get my first job. But by the time I was getting that job, I started listening to podcasts. Like in the morning, I would be sweeping and I would be listening to how do you interview, how do you write a good cover letter, how do you what. I said, if I get an opportunity, because I remember having an interview that I fumbled. Like I just knew myself, like this interview I didn't perform well, and I said never again. Like I'll never show up like to an interview where I want something to be given to me unprepared. Like never again. So like I listened to everything. I practiced. I was going to the next interview with a pamphlet, whereby when I was applying for the job, I even knew that okay, this job I will be given. If they don't give me, then they just don't want me, or they have someone else already. So when they called me and everything, like each stage, I over prepared. So even for the job, same thing. When I was now like transitioning from full-time employment with a bit of side hustling to saying, okay, now I'm done with this. I over prepared, and I don't think you lose anything. You can be like, oh, I prepared to meet a lion. I haven't met any lion, and that's fine. But you will not regret that you prepared. Like, what would I do in such a case? So I would recommend that if someone is transitioning from full-time employment to just going into business, entrepreneurship, they have to over prepare. Like think of any scenario that you could possibly think of and say, what would it be? Whether it comes to your finances, like what will I live on if I don't make the money in the next 3 months, in the next, I don't know, 1 month? What's my backup plan? What if this business that I think I should do doesn't work? What will I do? Like just ask yourself so many questions. And trust me, if you can't come up with the questions, you will find videos. Like I remember finding a video by Vanessa Lau. She creates things to do with digital marketing and all that. But she was just she was talking about her transition too, and she was just like create like maybe like you draw a line on a paper, then you tell yourself, okay, if this happens, what's the worst case scenario, and things like that. Like there are just so many exercises, articles, and everything that you can do. It sounds vague, but trust me, it's like one of the best ways to transition into anything that you're unsure of, because the fear usually stems from not knowing what's to come.
Because at least you have an idea.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we can say no, save up, then what? Yeah, you can save up, but if you still don't ask yourself what would I do if this and that happened, you may still not be prepared. So yeah, that's what I would say. In addition to over preparation, or rather not in addition, in that over preparation, it looks differently. If you're like very religious, it could mean also in like really indulging in your Bible, in your Quran, in whatever book that guides you, in your leaders, in a mentor to like really help you transition. Because I think transitions normally are just scary regardless of what it is. But then I'll even add, like, for your mental health also, therapy. So what is it? Because the fear of transition may not be because of what's also coming. Maybe it could be because of what you've experienced or what you've seen in your family or your friends, or just things that we hallucinate over, you know. So maybe you've seen someone try something like that and they failed miserably, and you're just like, yeah. So maybe address it in therapy. And one thing I like that my therapist said when I was quitting my job.
Therapist. You need a therapy.
When I was transitioning, yes, when I was transitioning, and I was like, to be honest, I know that whatever it is that I'll do, I'll be fine. And I don't want to lock myself up and say that, oh, I'm going to do personal finance forever, like even if I leave this. Because when I was even quitting my job, I didn't want to say I'm going into full-time like business or anything. I said, I want to figure myself out. I want to see what I really want. And she said, you know, you are really passionate about whatever it is that you're doing now. And I believe you will still have that in you, even when you go to the next thing. And if at any point, any day you decide, you know what, I no longer want to teach about money. I think I want to start a business for art or wine, right? You are still going to have the same passion, and it's inevitable. You're going to make the money. So you don't have to fear at all, because regardless, things are going to go, they're going to go well. So sometimes you just really need to address it with someone and see where the fear is stemming from. Yeah.
So in the process of transitioning, you talked about having a therapist. So how has that journey been? How long have you had a therapist? What inspired you to get a therapist?
Okay, what inspired me? Probably one of my favorite podcasts, My Leak Till. I came across it when I was in university, and the first episode I listened to was actually just about like how to get an internship and stuff like that. And when I continued listening, I saw that she had a lot of great episodes, and one of her main thing that kept repeating in every episode, regardless whether it was about friendships, romantic relationships, navigating jobs, navigating doing business, therapy. Like, she started therapy at some point, and she did it like for over 10 years, I would say. And she said it's one thing that is the constant in her life, and it has helped her like just through everything, because this is one place you can go, sit and just blab. Even if you don't have to get anything from your therapist, but in that moment you're in a safe space, you can just speak. If you have the craziest thing in your mind and you're like, my friends will be like, are you going cuckoo or something? You can actually go and say it to your therapist, and they'll just listen to you. You're paying them to listen anyway. So
it's a therapist local out of Zambia.
So my therapist is very much in Zambia.
Awesome.
Awesome. But we've had virtual sessions as well. Anyway, when I obviously was listening to that, I couldn't afford a therapist, and I didn't even know that there are spaces where you could find free therapists and things like that. I think we'll talk about that another time. But so now when I was in my job, I decided, after I got engaged actually. I was like, we need a therapist, in as much as it's good that usually they organize for you traditional teachers. And they maybe church, because a church we were covered, we had counselors and all that, but I said we also need a therapist, like someone who just counsel us in a different way, an unbiased way, and things like that. And that's what, so like I found one, And she said, okay, no, we're going to have first like individual sessions, like you alone, your husband to be alone, yeah, your partner alone. And then when I had that session, I was like, wait, I think I strike gold. I just found gold, so I might as well cover other things. Like it doesn't just have to be like whatever it is has to do with the marriage thing. And luckily, I was also thinking of quitting in that moment. So, like, I just like brought up everything. Now we continue to have our sessions. Right now, I haven't had sessions in some months.
You haven't been serviced.
I've not been good. Yes, exactly. And I was saying I need to now go back. I need to go back. And one thing about me is I don't think I've ever done anything without like listening to podcasts. So sometimes therapists could be there's one
the podcast.
Yeah, like there's one, the black girl therapy. The black girl therapy, something like that. I'll tell her to link it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find it on like your podcast and what. So you can listen to therapists through podcasts. So even if you can't afford one, you have to find what you can listen to.
It's basically having a conversation also.
Exactly. Yeah. And it helps you navigate things. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So now that maybe we are aware of therapy and obviously the pros to it, what is something that really helped you navigate through the transition, additional to therapy, in terms of you talked about the podcast? How do you navigate the right material? Is it that you're looking for a question and you just say, I'm looking to quit my job? Because I'm concerned with quality control.
That's true.
Not everyone who's on YouTube can give you...
And right now, I hear that we are actually quoting too many podcasts. I'm guilty of that right now.
You know?
But yeah.
So how do you navigate the quality of advice, the quality of material, the questions you have? Like, where do you get the answers?
I love that question because it's made me think. I think there are things, I pride myself in being a good researcher. Too bad I don't like school. But anyway, but I love learning. So that's the thing. That question you've asked, so coming back to the podcast I mentioned by my Malik Till, something I learned from her. When she's talking about nutrition, she'll quote, this doctor who has studied nutrition, has been in this industry for 10 years, what. And I think I subconsciously learned to do that, to look for that. If I'm going to listen to someone speak to me like they're a therapist, I'm going to look them up. Have they written books? How long have they been in this?
Industry,
okay, who's their clientele, things like that. Not like, Chipepo just gets up, she starts a podcast on therapy, and then you're like, Chipepo said this. It's good, you can quote me, but like, I'm not even qualified. I'm just sharing what I know. But look for the professionals. Like I look for doctors who've studied maybe psychology, mind and what, like Joe Dispenza. He's got some books and that you can check out. There's another doctor, I can't remember her name unfortunately, but yeah, the other one I mentioned for black girls, it's Dr. Joy. So like, I don't just look for anyone. And even myself, sometimes if I stumble on something, I'm like, you're speaking from your, like, what you think is right. But like, I want backed up data. Like, tell me something that is backed up by science, by neuroscience, you've studied it and all that. So that's one way to filter out what you are going to listen to in such a case. Same thing, even when you're looking for a therapist, it's good, yes, to find someone who's done it for a long time. You don't really have to be closed on, but they've not studied this. Some have experience, and that's okay, because experience is a teacher. But then, you shouldn't just find someone who's, like, credibility is important. Like, someone who just studied today, they can experiment in other ways, but don't just give yourself up for being experimented on. So, yeah. That's one way to filter out.
Awesome. Getting back to building your business, how has, now you have, before you had like the employment and you're guaranteed this is the money I'm getting. Therefore, your budget is quite, let me just say quite
Like it would be set.
It would be set. Yeah, that's the right word actually. So it's quite set and quite predictable. But now you have a business, and obviously there's the peak month, maybe there's like the valley.
Yeah.
You know. So how do you navigate your investment then with that structure? Because obviously what you make from a business, what's your structure anyway? Because before it's like investment, or are you in the period where you're now investing more in your business? So whatever you make, you run it through and etc. What's your business structure like versus your investment?
I'm here like, do I even know the answers? Anyway,
that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I'll share as far as like what I've done in the last 1 year. So when I just really like went like, okay, now we're doing this is what we're doing, I signed up for a few things that had to do with like maybe accounting, business finance. People come to me and they're like, hey Chipepo, what about business? I'm like, I really don't know much. I'm also
send
learning.
Them to the black wallet.
I will send them because I'm just learning. I'm sharing what I'm learning, but I don't feel I've reached a point where I should even charge you to share what I know. Like if you see me share anything about business, it's because I'm like, oh, this is really good. Let me share it with others. That level. But yeah, so I signed up for a number of things, and they really helped me understand like separating my personal finances from business finances. But one thing I really noticed is that you can be an expert in personal finance, but it doesn't mean you're it doesn't mean you're like good with all the money and everything. No, you'll be humbled.
Yes,
you
that's
will
the
be
reality.
humbled. You will.
And I feel like it's a cave. One time you're consistent, and one time,
you will be humbled. And I was just like, but why is this so? It took me like 4 or 5 months to even find structure. Even after signing up for which that thing was like the most expensive I did. Like after 2 months of just being like running the business, it was really expensive. But even when I was done, I was still confused. It was good, but it was just a lot for me to take in. And then I did another course like 2 months later, and then that one is what sort of solidified it. Like I learned about profit first. So it's a book, and it teaches you like how you can make allocations for your money from the business. And I was like, okay, this at least works. I tried it out, but after some months, I was again fumbling. So I said, this is, you're ever learning, ever experimenting, true. And you're like, okay, what will work? So like the thing you're saying about, like, am I reinvesting in the business? At first, I was just like, let's save, because I didn't know what to do. I was just like, save. Then the savings were there. I'm like, now what do we do? Like, you would think I would know because I talk about investing. But I'm like, what if we invest and I don't have what to pay the person helping me in the business, or even myself? I find that I'm completely broke. But then later on, when I learned about Profit First, I said, okay, we can invest some of it, save some of it, and then have like operational expenses, so the money that is just for operational things, and I kept that. And right now, what I noticed is that even that, I still didn't really like hit the nail in the whatever. So now I've realized that I have to change my strategy again, and this is when I would say I now want to reinvest in the business. Like the reinvesting that I was doing before, it was just like, oh, you put something to marketing, you put something here and there, but it wasn't really well structured. But now I want to reinvest into the business for growth. So that would mean if I have a plan of saying, oh, we want a physical office sometime, I have to look around and see what can the budget for that look like, and it means we need to keep this money for that. Where are we keeping it? Are we keeping it in this investment or just in a savings account? Things like that. But one thing I've done, yes, is just invest money for the business. So the business has some money that is sitting growing. So if the business ran broke, at least I can say, okay, let's liquidate a bit of that if we need it for something. But I think the most important also has been just learning that you have to really keep your revenue. Like even if you have the valley moments, as you call them, at least bring in, even if it's just one sale. Because I don't know how you would navigate the dry months. Like I haven't experienced that, but I've experienced low and it's like you get worried. But so invest, save, And learn, keep learning.
I just love the fact that you spoke about realistically speaking, because you're not, because you are offering personal finance services doesn't mean that you are also not a victim. So you keep learning.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
exactly.
guys, keep learning and
Keep
learning and learning and learning.
yeah.
Emphasis on that. No one is a pro. I always say, like, every time I look forward to learning something in business, every time, because you find what you learned yesterday, the data, the system changes.
Very much.
So emphasis on that. Keep learning,
always
keep
always
learning.
Because what you may have known then can be outdated
Yes,
now,
yes,
and
exactly.
will no longer be applicable. So
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. So let's keep learning. I also want you to talk about some of the services that you offer and how people can take advantage of those products or services with regards to personal financing. And like you said, your socials will be displayed up here, but I just want like a detailed description of the packages available, so that if somebody is watching this, they understand the value that comes with it.
Thank you. So, at Finances with Chipepo, we offer lessons on investing, lessons on budgeting, lessons on general personal finance. I call them core principles of personal finance. So, like, if you just came and you're like, Chipepo, what do I start with? I would say take the personal finance bootcamp. I created the bootcamp when I saw it's actually very young in like the offers that we have, but I saw the gap in like how people would just come like, hey, people, I want to learn about investing, and you look at this person, they told you they're struggling with saving or budgeting. Like, that's not what you need to jump at. But not only that, the question that we keep getting is, what is the best thing I can invest in? Like, among the investments we talk about, I'll go to that. But yeah,
1,000
what's the best that can give me every week or can give me a return? And if I invest 1,000, will I get 100,000 by next year? So yeah, those questions, they kept coming, and I said no. People are really running away from what they should learn. So the personal finance bootcamp teaches you, one, we start with spending. So you learn about intentional spending, the types of spending, and all that, impulsive spending, and yeah. Then you go to budgeting. So we talk about effective budgeting, the different budgeting systems, and a lot of people fail at budgeting not necessarily because they are not good at it, but because they're not equipped. They don't know what they need to do. They don't know that your personality actually matters when it comes to budgeting. Like, if you don't like cash, Monsa, and I tell you, hey, you're going to use cash, you'll be like, already, we failed. Yeah. So like, learning that your personality, your income streams, you see, if you have like one day you get paid in a month, the budgeting system that will work for you will be different for someone who's earning money on a daily basis. Very different, but people don't know that. So the budgeting session will teach you all the ways you can actually pick a budgeting system that works for you, or systems actually. You don't need to stick to one. It could be 3, you combine them.
Yeah.
And then after budgeting, you learn about saving. Saving has a bad rep. Like, people, these people who become billionaires and start telling you, don't save your money. It's just sitting in the bank. The bank is stealing from you. Like, that's not realistic. Most people's problems financially are stemming from the fact that they have nothing in their savings account. Like, you cannot have that conversation if you have no assets, you don't have any money. Like, no, we are not yet there. You have to learn that savings is important, and what types are there, what are emergency funds, what are sinking funds, what do you need to look out for, how far can you go? Because again, we don't want you saving 1 million, you're just sitting in your savings account. So there the conversation changes. So then the investing session, what I like about it a lot, because some people jump to it, they're like, oh, can I just sign up for this? Because it's very affordable. So people are like, no, let me just sign up for this because I'll learn. I'm like, no, we don't teach you about a particular investment in that session. We teach you how to pick investments. Because that's where, like, people don't know how. If you know how to pick investments, it doesn't matter if tomorrow there's Chipepo investment. You will just look at it, analyze it on your own, and you will know whether to invest or not. So you will learn, okay, you need to look out for interest rates, you need to look out for longevity, lock-in period. Am I going to keep your money for 2 years? Am I going to keep your money for 10 years? Are you willing to wait that long? What are the interest rates looking like? are there any fees? Because you know people sometimes just come, they just want to know how much will I get. Like, okay, what if I tell you I'm charging you 50% just for me to facilitate this? So knowing all that.
So do you facilitate investments as well?
No, okay. I don't. But yeah, so you go in that session, you will learn how you can pick investments and all the things you need to look out for. So yeah, that's the personal finance bootcamp and the one that you need to start with. And then we talk about 4 investments generally, like this among the services. So we have a class on government bonds, we have a class on unit trust, we have a class on stocks, or let me be specific and say investing in the Lusaka Stock Exchange. So this is very specific to Zambians. Of course, I have clients from different countries, but there I tailor make it because I have to look at their stock market, look at their their government bonds and things like that, and then I tailor it. So yeah, then we have a class on treasury bills. So we only talk about 4 investments. It doesn't mean there are only 4 investments in Zambia or in Africa, no. But I really learned the thing of like streaming down. Like I don't have to talk about everything. It's easier for me to just say, oh, these are the ones I want to talk about, and that's it. Then yeah, we have something specific on just budgeting where it goes in depth, so you can buy. It's called the Effective Budgeting Short Course, and that one is a winner, especially like for people who are like, I don't know like how to manage my money, but I just want one thing. You can do that one. So those are the services we have.
No excuses. Check out
No excuses.
Finances with Chipepo.
Yeah. Oh, and compound interest. Why would I forget my favorite class?
Favorite class.
Yes,
I know
compound interest. Compound interest, because this one I recommend it highly to the ones who are in the investing phase, especially, or you have debt. Because then if you have debt, you watch that one, you'll be like, you know what, let me figure out how to pay off my money because I'm losing money. So the compound interest class, it focuses on you just understanding how money grows. If we tell you, oh, this is 18% per annum, like the returns, what does that mean? Like, how will it grow? If we say invest for at least 10 years, people feel like, oh, but then when you look at the numbers, you'll be like, I see why you have to be patient. Just continue, whether it's stacking up the money or increasing your income so that you can invest more. It really just shows you how money grows. Yeah, so those are the services.
Awesome.
Thank
and
you.
The services are available. Talk about the physical ones, the onlines. I mean the pre-recorded. I don't know what's the arrangement to that.
Okay, so they're all pre-recorded, meaning you can, if you bought like right now as I'm speaking, you would receive it to your email, we send it to you, and you can start learning in your own free time. And of course, you can come back and ask if you have any questions. Once in a while, we do host live classes. They are virtual, so they are held on Zoom or any other like virtual platform, and you can join in, ask questions if it's live, obviously, and then things like that. But it's the same thing, really. You watch in your own time, you come, you ask questions. So right now, we don't have any physical classes, like in person. Yeah, but virtual classes. I mean, the world has gone digital, guys. Like, yeah, so it's all cool. It's all good. Yeah.
So make sure you can subscribe for any of the classes, like she said. Check out Facebook, Instagram, you name it. I've attended one of your classes before, so I know the quality. You don't even remember? No, I have attended one of your classes before. This should have been 2 years ago. I've also done the compound interest class.
Wow!
Yeah.
Look at me, being surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the compound interest class before, and I was just so excited.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I've done that one. I also did a class with you and Victoria. I think you had a joint class together.
Yeah.
So I'm well cooked.
We know. So yeah, you see, now you can imagine. Like if she's saying that time now, it's like we're there. The classes are really
I know it's a class worth it if you're watching this, especially if you don't know how to navigate, like you said, from savings all the way down to investing. So it's a class. Their classes I highly recommend for you to hop on and just sign up. They are worth it. Actually undervalued in terms of price.
I agree. I totally agree.
I agree because I know the research it takes. I know the process. So if you can hop on it, Please pay, otherwise it will be in the dollars.
Before I transition to my wine business, I'll be like, now these are all 5,000 or 10,000. Anyway, yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on here today at the Black Wallet. I'm just so excited with what's coming ahead 2025. So maybe you can spill a little bit of the beans, what we should be looking forward to in 2025 from Finances with Chipepo, what you want to revise, how you want to continue making an impact, and just changing the game here in Zambia and Africa generally.
Amen. I love that. Thank you so much. So, yeah, thank you for having me once more. For 2025, really, what I'm looking at is I want growth for us, and I also want I I talk about a lot of like community-based learning when it comes to finances with Triple. There's something that we had a lot, which was the Get Your Money Right groups, and people still inquire about them. It's just that it's a lot of work, guys, to like have people in there and like constantly be sharing value and everything. But I really do encourage, like, when people learn, they share. I talk about not leaving anyone behind. That's what I'm usually saying. So, like, if you learn, you share. You learn, you share. I always tell people, like, don't even feel guilty. Don't think, oh, because you learned from me. Yes, it's good. You can bring them to learn, buy a class, but you need to talk about it in your communities so that others are also interested. And if you have money, you have your finances sorted out, and your neighbor doesn't, then you still have that burden, right? Because they'll be coming to you. But if you like you impact them as well, you empower them. Our favorite word in Zambia, they also get empowered to manage their own money and all that. Then it's good. So what I really want for 2025 is to really refoster, like really bring out that community-based learning, meaning the brand can thrive even with other people coming in. So the growth of like having more people working in Finances with Triple and sharing. Something that I've been looking at a lot also is that a lot of people share about debt, and honestly, I used to do that, but right now I feel I would bring someone else on board to do that. So hopefully we can do it by mid or end of 2025. Unfortunately, not early, but someone who could teach about debt management and things like that. But just the expansion in growing the community, a lot of collaborations. Yes, working with other people.
Awesome. We're excited and we wish you the very best. Please don't forget to check out Finances with Chipepo and the previous video we did as well, where you're going to learn a lot more about what did we talk about?
We talked about goal setting, how we prepare towards the end of the year.
Yes, towards the end of the year. And I think this is the same period we are making a video, and we both found out we plan our year in October. So make sure you check out that video. It's really going to be helpful for you, especially if you want to be aggressive in 2025. Like I am coming.
Just hinting right now.
Just hinting, So make sure you watch that video. That's nice. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited for our next video.
Me too.
Already. Let's start planning.
Pressure, Mwanza, pressure. But anyway, we are ready.